Hey everyone, welcome back to another recap podcast from SNXweave, where we give quick weekly recaps of news and important updates from the previous week from the Spartan Council and core contributors, as well as discuss what the Grants Council and ambassadors are up to, so let's get started. Starting with Andromeda, V3 is still in its soft launch phase, testing out limited OI caps, and there haven't been any major marketing pushes to get users to V3. BERT is looking for more market availability before they begin actively pushing more users towards the new system. Currently, in its throttled phase, V3 is just less appealing from a trader's perspective than V2, so there isn't really a compelling reason for traders to stay on V3, though there are some traders actively testing the system and reporting bugs. There was, however, some support to list an SNX perp as an initial exciting offering to get traders to start using the V3 markets. As for the asymmetric funding rate, the team is currently in the process of deploying this SIP to testnet for integrators. This is expected to be on mainnet in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and Quenta is likely to launch the public alpha before this feature is fully integrated. Other initiatives that are currently in progress for the CCs include multi-collateral liquidations, which are under development and being prepared for audit, and improved client library for ERC 7412 with the goal of streamlining development for integrators. Next, for the SIP to migrate L1 SNX to V3 using the V3 legacy market, the CCs are processing audit feedback and conducting additional tests to allow SNX stakers on V2X to seamlessly migrate their positions to the V3 system. The main driver behind this is to be able to have available collateral to back L1 perps. The legacy market should be ready to be deployed to V2X within a week, then to V3 a couple of weeks after that, pending audit feedback. The Spartan Council also discussed launching on a new chain, where they signaled a mostly neutral stance for deploying to Arbitrum. Mark explained that it's not as much of a technical hurdle in V3, though it would still briefly strain developer resources during the testing phase. From an integrator perspective, Polynomial and Rage Trade have expressed interest in the deployment, but BERT mentioned that from Quenta's perspective, they haven't really fleshed out how they would service a second V3 deployment. Millie added that the product should be ready to quickly scale before it's deployed to Arbitrum. Lastly, before the SIP presentations, there was some discussion again regarding fully on-chain governance. The main proposal for this, SIP 360, is ready for a presentation and may be ready for implementation by the end of the next epoch, with the current focus being on scaling Andromeda on base. SIP 341 will then add address permissions only to execute SCCPs for the initial integration with the election system. Then there will be a third SIP that has not been assigned a number yet for a safe module that integrates election system NFTs for use with a configurer safe. Next up are the SIP presentations from last week, so let's briefly review those. The first was SIP 2055, which introduces a new dynamic gas fee module in response to Optimism's upcoming Ecotone upgrade. Presented by Caleb, this SIP proposes putting in place a new dynamic gas fee module to replace the one currently implemented under SIP 2013. Ecotone is an Optimism upgrade that will go live on March 14th to implement EIP 4844 and is expected to significantly reduce fees. The main motivation here is to continue to incentivize the decentralized community of keepers to execute perps v2 settlement and liquidation transactions by covering the cost of execution. Settlement gas prices for synthetics users are expected to drop roughly 50% eventually as a result of this upgrade. This SIP will update V2X to reflect this change, and there will be another SIP for V3. The last presentation of the evening was SIP 2056 to list Starknet on perps v2. Starknet is at the center of the ZK rollup narrative that utilizes Starks to ensure computational integrity, aiding in overcoming Ethereum scaling limitations. BERT explained that the airdrop happened on February 20th, so there's expected to be a lot of trading interest, and the only other exchange listing Stark is Avo, and they're only offering 2x leverage. In Grants Council updates, the team's most recent meeting revolved around their current ongoing projects, including the RBot, integrator fee model, bot maintenance, and quality control on ongoing watcher improvements. As a refresher for the RBot initiative, The Grants Council is funding an expansion on the existing Synthetics v3 SDK, which will include a template for centralized and decentralized exchange arbitrage bots. They recognize a growing need for arbs on v3 and are excited to build simple tooling that allows anyone to set up an arbitrage bot by running a few lines of code. And in exciting news, they just recently approved a grant for the Integrator Fee Model project. You can read the grant linked in our blog. Lastly, in ambassador updates, the council has been focused on their optimism responsibilities as they review the OP grants and provide feedback on those submissions. They also prepared for their Spartan Space last week with Polynomial, which Master Mojo and Westy hosted. And that's it for today's updates. Be sure to check out our weekly recap blog post, share this podcast link, and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear more about from SNXweave. Thanks for listening.